Fucking around days.
Hot damn Gators, he's at it again, gating everything in the World of Warcraft. I don't know what I'm doing over here.
I want to talk about World of Warcraft.
3, 2, 1.
So welcome back to Server Restart In, weekly World of Warcraft podcast where three opinionated players get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim, joined by Kristen.
Hi.
And Brian.
Hi.
Why are you pointing at me?
Because I can.
Oh. Okay.
Because everybody can hear it. Everybody can see it.
I like
Why
to point at
are you pointing at me?
It was a cue
Oh.
to talk.
Oh, I didn't.
Only talk when pointed at.
Oh.
What?
Oh, wow.
I kid.
Cut that out.
Cut that out.
Already. All right. So we've had a few things come out. We've had
9.1, 9.15 came out?
It did?
No, it hasn't come out yet. It's on the PTR. 915 is, however.
I mean, I only play the PTR, so that's current for me.
Are you one of those hipsters that only plays the PTR?
Are there people like that? There probably is, isn't there?
I don't know. It's just like you said, well, I only play the PTR. That's kind of like, well, I listened to them before they were cool kind of thing. You know what I mean?
It just sounded dumb enough to say, so.
Well, I'm glad you
I'm
said
sorry.
it.
I'm sorry that one person that plays the PTR professionally. So, anywho.
So, we got a blue post announcing.
We did.
Yes, there's been several blue posts.
Us specifically?
Yes, directed at us. Because we are at the top.
Yeah, because we're still playing the game.
I'm still playing the game.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fishing.
Jim's the only one who's still playing the game.
I haven't played in like almost 3 weeks. It's
yeah. I log on to raid, and that's it.
Oh, speaking of raiding, we got to Kel'Thuzad.
Oh, yeah.
I saw. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We got a couple polls on them and stuff like that. And
We did?
yeah. So, yeah, just a
I don't remember.
nice little side note. Oh, how
do I not remember? Very easily. I was drinking. It was late, and I think I had to work the next day. I don't remember. And my memory sucks.
Anyway,
I should have been at the top, actually. But
anyway, 9.1.5, if I can say that right. 915. We have got official confirmation from Blizzard that they are bringing back the Mage Tower with Legion Timewalking.
oh my god, I'm so mad about that.
Well, let a rip, Tater Chip.
That freaking werebear looks so much better than the other ones. I'm so
It really
pissed.
does.
It really does. I'm so pissed.
So okay. So we'll get to that. To break it down, there's the 7 instances that are available for all classes and specs based on what class and spec you are. You go to one of them or whatever. They award a tier 20 recolor, which was that Tomb of Sargeras?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So they,
Yeah.
and then if you complete all 7 of them in your account, you will get a spellbook mount. So I think, I wonder if it's the fucking one from the contest.
Oh.
Remember how we got the tree, the Wandering
Yeah.
Ancient, but there was a spellbook one.
Yeah.
So there's a spell.
Oh,
so that'd be cool.
interesting.
So there's a spellbook.
Did they actually make all those?
They probably
was
did.
Are they
that's-
do they count the ones that you completed before count?
No, this is time walking instances.
So are they only around during the Legion time walking?
They're only around during Legion time walking, and when they first come out, it's not going to be a week. It's going to be 2 weeks. So it'll be.
But if you beat the Mage Tower before, you can't play it.
Brian.
I mean, I'm not going to play it again
that
anyway
is not true.
because,
Oh,
you know.
I am going to get all that shit.
Yeah, you get all that shit.
Um,
Then you can log into my account
and
and you can
then-
get all that shit from
so-
me too.
There was, in the Blue Post, they talked about how they weren't going to bring artifact weapon skins back because there was this whole concept of, you did this at that time. It was hard. It's like a badge of honor.
Jim, don't sugarcoat it.
No,
okay?
they're doing FOMO.
No, it was blah, blah, blah. The only thing that was special enough that we're not going to do anything about, or do something for, rather, is going to be the stupid druid thing. Whenever there's a killer flail sitting there that doesn't
Yeah.
exist anywhere in the game,
Yeah.
like a bunch of assholes, and
Yeah.
they
Well-
know it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess the flail is also something that's not available in the game, but that's the reason that they said the werebear mount was, because it's a form that's only available for there as opposed to all the other druid forms or something. I don't know. So they made a fell werebear, which does look pretty fucking
Looks
badass.
pretty badass.
And
I'm annoyed.
I'm finally gonna get one on my druid.
I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed. Super annoyed.
But if you haven't seen it, go look it up. It looks pretty damn good. So, I mean, I kind of get why they making the choices they did. It's just a lot of people are pissed that they brought the werebear back
Yep.
because they're like, it's supposed to be
It
special.
looks better.
It
Yeah,
looks
I mean, really,
better. It totally negates doing that, and it looks better. So yeah.
Well, I don't know what they can do about that because
Not bring it back.
I mean, they could, but the
They really
problem.
shouldn't. They shouldn't bring it back. They should introduce something different.
Yep.
That is along the same lines,
Yeah.
like a shape-shifting form that is just different.
Yep.
And make it unique to Time Walking for Legion.
Yep.
So this is obviously something that they've been planning on doing for a while, right? This wouldn't have been something
Well,
they
we
just...
already know they make really good decisions, so
No. What I'm talking about is I'm not defending their decision in this. I'm saying that this isn't something that they just decided to do recently.
I knew Jim was pro Blizzard the whole time.
Yeah.
How
So
can we have a controversial podcast and he's biased to the company that we're doing it for?
Yeah. Jim's
He
shilling.
must be getting paid all the money too,
Yeah.
huh? Hmm?
I wish. But yeah, so like they would have had time to come to a decision on either designing a new form for the ground, like maybe not make it a werebear form. I mean, because
Maybe
the
not do
other
that.
forms you got were something different. They could have done something along those lines, but
What about Ursoc? They could have given him the Ursoc model,
That's-
essentially.
that's already in there. That's a
Is it?
Yeah, with the nightmare bear.
Yeah.
See, I don't druid, so
And
sorry.
it's there as part of not the werebear forms, but just like the regular artifact appearance. It's one of the artifact appearance skins for Feral.
the way he
for-
was when we fought him in
Pretty much, yeah.
Feral
It's
Nightmare?
it's like all like nightmared out.
Mm.
So you can still get that form. But it should have been something, I mean, I guess, what was the Sabron form?
give him Ghost Wolf form.
Oh, the Sabron form would have been cool.
You got that in you got that in WoD though. And what is it for? Is that still even around?
What?
The Sabron form?
No, they took it out.
Are you sure? It's not.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Why did they take it out?
Okay. I mean, it was in Feral. It was a
Right.
a
That's
talent
that's
in
what I
Feral,
mean. It was.
and they removed that talent.
Right, but I'm wondering if they put in a. Maybe they didn't put it back in. That's.
What was it? Like it was actually in the game.
It was
Yes.
form. Yeah, it was.
It was a
Feral,
talent
it was
you
a
could
talent
take
for Feral.
feral druids in
Yes.
Warlords, and you were
Oh,
basically a werecat.
Yes.
And so
We've opted to remove the Saberon form for
Yes.
now. Artifacts provide a huge amount of customization ability for forms. You know, any asshole that decides to take something unique out of a game like this can just go fuck the right off the ledge of something.
Yep.
Their deck, their porch,
Yep.
this getting out of their car. I hope they trip. Like, I don't want them to get hurt really bad, but just like a bloody nose or something.
Yeah. Bloody nose is
Because I'm
hard.
pretty sure they're related to the gator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they probably carpool together to work.
And they spitball ideas with each other.
Yeah,
You know,
like
yeah.
they are the worst of the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
The gator.
The
That
gator.
damn gator, he's at it again. Gating
gator.
everything in the world of Warcraft.
Yep. Gating
Dude,
it
there
all.
is some really badass looking. Is it Saberon or Saberon?
Saberon.
Oh no, there's the ooh art on Google. Gross.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, but that would be a good form. Like they should have added something like that. They should have said with it coming back, you're getting this. I mean, I guess they trying to keep
Give
it.
them Swolkins. Oh, dude, that's a great idea. Give them Swolkins. They're not related to Legion, but
Yeah, and that's I think Saberons aren't either. So, but they could have
Oh,
developed
fair.
a different form that you could
They
get.
look
They had
badass,
Saberon
though.
in a.
No, Saberon was WAD.
Was it one?
Yes, because it was level 100, and Legion was
Oh,
110.
You're right.
And
You are
dude,
correct.
they would make a great race, though. I must say that.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
like that.
yeah, I don't know about that.
Shut up, Jim. In your Blizzard perspective. I don't think Blizzard and I really agree with that perspective.
I do think we agree though that they're going to take undead heritage armor and turn it into trash because that's
I'm
what
sure
the
they,
undead are.
because they never made it anyway, so it's already in the garbage. But it's
Yeah.
so when
Oh,
Jim
wow.
and Blizzard go on dates, they call themselves Ji-zzard.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I don't
Oh.
like your couple name with Blizzard.
you got me there, Brian.
I don't like your
got me
couple
there.
name. Definitely
Blim
not.
didn't sound as good, so
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
Blim.
Blizzard.
Yeah. Either way, doesn't sound
So-
all that great,
Wait,
honestly.
so lion-based something races. That's a Guild Wars thing, isn't it? Isn't that Guild Wars 2? They have one like
the
that.
char. Yeah, and they're like a cat people, like lionish. You know, and they got,
Charizard.
yeah, they're not Charizard. That's a,
Charizard?
it's a flame and a dragon type. asshole.
What about the what are with the dudes in the thing that you go for the Nefarians? Well, don't say layer. It's not layer.
I was gonna say
No.
lair.
Are you talking about the Drogbar?
Yes. Why not
The
one
rock
of those?
people?
The
As a
rock.
playable race or as a druid form?
Oh, they're rock people, aren't they? Mother trucker.
Yeah. But that would be an interesting race to have, you know, as an allied race.
I agree.
You know,
Man, Legion was really awesome. Can we
I
just talk about
agree.
that for the whole
Yes.
hour? How awesome Legion is?
I
No.
agree. Legion
Okay.
was fantastic. Jim.
oh no, there was something else that happened that we could talk about.
Oh.
That is, you know, but we can talk about that towards the end.
What happened? Now you've got my curiosity piqued. What happened?
So there is a couple of pieces of in-game artwork that were in, is it the pleasure room in Karazhan or something like that? One of them is of a woman in a low-cut dress with a lot of cleavage. The other one is a type of, you know, painting that is fairly common throughout history. It's a reclining nude type painting where it's a woman laying on a chaise or whatever, kind of in like a comfortable pose. And if you look at it, it actually looks like she's wearing a veil and like pants, almost like I don't know, is that like Arab type stuff, like Arabian Nights type thing? If you think about like the
Yeah, like the harem pants.
yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so they replaced the reclining nude one with a picture of fruit, and they
Oh,
and they redid the one with the cleavage, and they gave her like normal clothes.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yeah, but the fruit is really sexy.
Oh, is
I
it?
mean,
Is it some sexy fruit?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's like 2 oranges and a huge banana.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess that makes sense.
But
Yeah.
so that's kind of something that's just happening, and a lot of people
Are
on both
annoyed.
sides are like, it's calling it virtue signaling.
It is virtue
calling
signaling.
it
Oh
well,
my
you know, but then you got
God.
other people saying it's like, well, it was probably like female devs that made the change and all that stuff, and
Oh.
you know, and it's just like I listen to some of these arguments. I'm like, you're pulling these things out of your ass as far as like these scenarios. It's like there's nobody's come out and said who's done this, who's made the decision for it, or anything like that. So, and you know, there's like a big YouTuber guy on Twitter saying stuff like, you know, it's like, well, no, that's the most likely scenario. That's the most likely scenario. It's like, I don't know what you're basing this off of. That's what you think the most likely scenario is.
What's the most? That it's women
Anybody
who did
that's
it?
not an idiot knows it was a team decision, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
probably vetted that decision based on all the events that have been going on for the
Yeah.
past couple months. So rest assured, it's best for whatever, like whoever thought it was the right thing to do. It's probably the best for the game in the long term. So it doesn't even matter.
But I
The
mean,
funny part is a lot of pictures like that. Because there were some in, or no, it was in at the very end of Kara before you get to the last boss was like a pleasure room-ish area.
I think that's what this is.
Yeah, and then there was also 2 rooms on the way to Maiden from. Shit. What was the third boss? You killed Morose, then you go up the thingy. Oh yeah, from Morose to the Maiden, there was 2 rooms off to the side there. That was also had paintings and stuff. It was unique because those paintings didn't really seem to be in other places of the game. It was kind of cool.
Right.
But as far as I can recall, like I don't remember anything. I don't know would you call that sexually suggestive?
People are saying it's part of removing sexually suggestive content
I get
and all
that,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Like,
But
in general, I don't know if like, I get it. Like, I get it. Let them do whatever they feel is right. If it means making a full sweep and just getting, I mean, hell, they already renamed the zone in
Makari. They renamed Makari.
Wait, they what?
Makari, because it's named after what?
Oh.
Jesse McCree.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That
They're
was
also
in,
renaming the
The achievements, like
no, the over
Overwatch character.
Overwatch
yeah,
character.
because it's his
That's
name.
Right. That's right.
Overwolf.
They're
Overwolf. That was where I was going with that.
We're not
Overwolf.
sponsored by Overwolf.
God, I hope not.
Oh God.
No, but they're also renaming several achievements, like My Sack is Gigantic.
Gigantique.
I'm sorry, Gigantique, and then
That's
Bros
right.
Before Ho Ho Ho's is going to be Holiday Bromance. Which
How is that any better?
bromance is more like a platonic male friendship thing. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
It's not, you know, it's not as, I guess, sexually degrading to women.
Oh God.
I mean, whatever. And it's just about this artwork stuff is like you see
I think
people
the
on
biggest the biggest thing I think that as long as they are vetting it against people that have, you know what I mean, that have to deal with it or find it offensive, and they're not just doing it because they think this is what they need to do, right? That's all that matters, right? If it's offensive to somebody in this particular game that they like to be a part of, and it's, you know what I mean, it's offensive to them in some way, that's fine, you know.
but
Just make it better, and for the most part, because honestly, everybody else it doesn't make a shit about. Like, all that stuff was passive. It was all passive. Like, I remember seeing things, but it was never like
Enough to comment on.
no, you're right. It's most of these things they don't jump out at you in any way. They're just little pieces of stuff there. They add a little flavor to the world, and it's not.
I guess my point from that perspective is that, like, it's really easy to get upset about change in something like that, especially like when generally society has been this way for a very long time, right? It's funny because I was listening to a Beastie Boys song earlier, the Girls song.
Girls.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's funny because that same, I like when I listen to it and I listen through the lyrics and stuff, like,
Oh, they're terrible.
yeah, well, personally, like over the last couple decades, yes, that's,
Yeah.
I get that perspective. That's what I grew up with. That's what I
Yep.
grew up around. Everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm going around offending women nonstop, but, you know what I mean? Like it made me like double,
Do a
I don't
double
know,
take.
not really. Yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, I didn't stop it and fast forward and be like, oh, I'm offended by this all of a sudden, because I wasn't. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect me, and I think in that scenario, like, it's really hard to say, right? I don't think it's incredibly demeaning to women, but it's more like, I don't know. I don't want to get into it because I don't know how to explain it myself. So
I always thought it was a fun song. You know what I mean?
No, I did too, and I still
Yeah.
like it, but like it made me double take when I was listening to it, and I'm like, oh my god, am I actually like?
Right? Am I part of the problem?
You know what I mean? It makes you think. It makes you think from that perspective. And
Yeah.
there are female relationships at work and everything over the years that, like, you know, well, shit was the stuff that we talk about, the jokes that were going on at work and stuff
Right.
like that. Now is it like?
Was that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though in the moment, like, it seemed completely socially acceptable.
Yep. Yep.
You know, and I don't think that nothing bad off the top of my head, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it makes you second guess all those things, and then, like, holy crap, like, the change is going on and you could feel it. But at the same time, I think those people that are willing to complain and bitch about how, oh, they're removing it, cancel culture, or this garbage, what, dude, I'm sorry, but you never noticed it anyways. And if you did, I mean, what the hell are you doing? Like, you got better things to do in your time instead of staring at a pixelated woman on the wall in World of Warcraft. So
Right.
it's not, you're not going to see the change. You're not going to see the difference. If it means it helps somebody else, you know, better adapt to this
Right.
game, this world and stuff like that. I think it's only, it only can be good at that point.
Yeah.
So.
I feel bad because I feel like I'm a terrible woman or something. Because I don't get offended by a lot of things, right? And I don't see sometimes the things I don't see the things as problematic. You know what I mean? And so sometimes it's like, well, crap, am I part of the problem too? Because
No, it's okay.
joke around about, I mean, I probably say some inappropriate stuff, you know, and I probably joke around and you know what I mean? And it's like, so it's hard because it's like
Joking around and having certain views and all that stuff doesn't mean that you're wrong or that you're part of a problem. There doesn't necessarily mean that there's a problem because you like blue humor, you like things or whatever, you know. It's like making a joke and knowing that it's just a joke is different than making a joke and saying things and meaning them.
right.
You know,
Not to mention the context. I mean, if you're, you know, I mean, because there is a huge difference between a society that, you know, that jokes around with it so much that they believe it
Right.
is a problem. Yeah, and that's, you know, you could look at racism and see, like, you know, how bad it is in our country still,
Right.
and how socially acceptable it is on one side to even still, I don't know, you know, a particular word that contributes back into that
Right.
mindset, it doesn't disappear. And while that may be acceptable for one side, overall as a society, it doesn't move anything forward progressively. So,
Right.
in general, maybe it is. If everybody's doing the same thing, sure. But context is everything. I don't think you should probably joke at that level at work. Even
Right.
nowadays, even if you trust most people you work with, I wouldn't do it. I mean, in your own personal circles and stuff, you know, that's
Right.
your discretion at that point. As long as you're not changing your perception of people, the way that they, you know, you perceive them and how you treat them.
Right.
It's just one of those things. It's as personal as your sexual orientation,
Yeah.
which nobody should ever fucking ask you.
Right.
So,
Right. It's nobody's business.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is nobody's business, but people feel the need to share it. But World of Warcraft,
Jim, World of Warcraft.
we're not going to solve social issues
know.
here. I mean, we can understand how they play a role in the game. We can understand how they affect the course of the game, like with this change. I personally feel that this is something that they found that they could do and did it because either they thought that it could cause a problem down the road, because they never announced this. This was something that somebody noticed apparently after the changes went in, and whether it was something that was data mined
and that's kind of a good thing. That means that they have the control that they need to flatten out any of the garbage that was in the game among all the time period at which all this crap's been going on, and they can flatten that down and move forward. If that's the path forward for them to move, and that means Blizzard becomes a company that everybody wants to be involved with again, that's a good thing.
All right.
One, they got control. Two, they're able to eliminate any roadblocks mentally or physically in the company in general to move forward with the game. And that's what everybody needs.
Right.
So
I don't personally agree with the change, right? I never saw these, looking at them, I don't look at them and go, wow, that's like slut shaming, or that's,
well, the reality is, like, if they didn't data mine it, nobody would have noticed.
Yeah.
And
somebody would have noticed
it would have taken too long. It would have taken too long to where it was going to be like, oh, remember earlier when we were talking about the Saberon or whatever? It would be that scenario. Hey, wasn't there a naked lady that I used to beat off to on the thing? In the current thing?
But here's the thing, right? It's
now there's fruit. No, that's still sexy.
It's like you got the people that are talking about. I'm glad, I'm glad they did this or whatever, because it's offensive to women and all that stuff. And then you have other women that are like, so you're basically telling us we have to cover up,
right?
Because that's essentially what they did.
Right.
Was that. It's like you have women on both sides of the spectrum saying, it's like, yes, I agree with what they did. What they did was right. They shouldn't have that stuff in there. It's degrading. Where then you have others like, no, it's empowering the women to be able to express themselves however they want without being told how to.
I don't really think it's that. I think it's more like,
well, no,
just get it out of the way in general. Just get it out of the way, so it's just not a conversation piece for a game.
I'm not saying
that
that
all
was
play together.
Yeah, I'm not saying that was the driving force behind it, but I'm saying that these are some of the arguments that are being thrown out there, and it's just like, and both arguments on both sides are coming from the main demographic here, which is women, because that's primarily what this is. These changes really reflect around is, I guess, perception of women, and you can't please everybody, and it's just like, I don't personally agree with it. I don't care that they did it. I mean, whatever. Like you said, I couldn't tell you what room it is. I couldn't tell you if I've ever even seen the damn thing in game. It would be one of those things where playing the game, you'd see it and go, oh, and move on. For me.
Yeah, and I think if it was something like where they updated Sylvanas' character model from over the years to something less revealing,
which they did,
then
but they had plot stuff behind it. In Cataclysm, when she got shot by Greymane, she used to wear just like a bikini top and the pants. But then after she got shot by Greymane and brought back by the Valkyrie, she had almost like an armor, like, I don't know if it was necessarily like a crop top or whatever, but they changed her model.
I mean, she used to be a night elf.
Well, I know they changed the model, but I didn't realize that they covered the model.
Right, but but there was plot reason behind it. You know what I mean? Like, she wore more armor. So.
Well, it's a different story. It's a different story, and it's more aligned with what we were actually talking about. If they intentionally went back to do it because of how exposed she was. That makes a huge difference.
Right? No,
because
I know. But it was a change in Cataclysm, and it wasn't like they went back to. It's not like it's like that way in Classic. In Classic, she's still like the Banshee thing. Before she actually became like the full.
Well, that too. Like she's very represented as like in a elf bikini type thing.
Yeah. Well,
see, I don't know. It's challenging because even Tyrande has a fairly like her traditional outfit. Isn't it very?
Revealing.
Well, I don't say revealing, but it's almost like a nightgown dress thing or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that the way that they model her is for sex appeal. Like, and is that the general topic that?
I mean,
you know what I'm saying though. Right? Like it's like the whole the ladies in the 80s open up the Sears book and they see these women these impossible women in their lingerie and like, ooh, I want to look like that.
Yeah, sex sells. That's end
it's
of
not
story.
to that extent. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about, but that's that appeal that promotes them to be able to do that. So, and given the fact that like they probably thought that this was a primarily a male dominant game, I could see why they were probably doing that. Whether they male dominated developed or male dominated
player base.
I say dominated player base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Though, like the majority.
And I think
probably
that's
male.
I think that's what the problem is that
that's
games haven't
fantasy games
evolved from that thinking that it's only guys who are playing it.
Right.
And, you know what I mean?
It's the whole neckbeard D&D mom's basement like trope, and it's not. I mean that's.
Oh, I know.
I don't think that's like necessarily what people think anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's the way people used to look at people that were into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was the mental image that are Satanists. But like the whole D&D satanic panic shit or whatever. But but it's just like
it is incredible though, because I could say like I googled the Sylvanas model over the years, and it's funny because like it's not funny, but
it's interesting.
I don't have that perception. Like her stomach is revealed. She's wearing what I would call some sort of bikini top, even though it's armor. It's modeled as armor or whatever it may be. But you can see like the top of her hips and like she's very slender and stuff. And it's like, I understand the look because again, I grew up in the Sears catalog age and the fucking Victoria's Secret age and all this other crap, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, like I just don't. Like when I look at it, I don't immediately have that. You know what I mean?
Like that dang.
Well, not necessarily that, but like I perceive her as. Oh gosh, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe I shouldn't try to explain it then if I don't know. So, I'll just leave it at that. This is not what I see in.
Yeah.
Because I remember this particular model in Lich King. Whenever she was running from Lich King in that one dungeon.
Oh,
I remember this model.
The one
from
where
there.
Kristen fell off the ledge.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Halls of Reflection.
Yep.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I mean, it's not like I have, wow, this is a sexy night elf undead person running around. And I'm not saying that that's probably the case or that's the whole topic or whatever it may be. Not at all. And I don't know. Maybe I should be proud of the fact that that's not what I.
It doesn't seem out of the ordinary because in all these types of games, women characters are in like the whole chainmail bikini type, trope is normal.
Have they seen Final Fantasy at all? Like,
now some of the people were throwing up pictures of some of the outfits from there too, and it's just like and then somebody's snarky comment is like, yeah, well, that company's not under investigation for sexual harassment and all that stuff.
No,
And it's
that's
like,
not how it works. That's
Wait,
not how it
what
works.
happened?
people were, throwing up, examples from Final Fantasy 14 for some of like the character models and the outfits and all that stuff and the sexualization and whatnot. And somebody's snarky comment was something about the effect of, yeah, well, Square Enix isn't under investigation for, mistreatment of women and all that stuff. And it's just like, it's so fucking stupid. That's so disingenuous. It's so not even part of the argument. And like, even bringing up other games has nothing to fucking do with it. It's like Blizzard's going to do what they feel that they need to do for whatever reason to get themselves back on track. If it's changing some pictures, if it's changing models, if it's starting to design armor sets that move away from that and actually maybe are more functional than aesthetic.
But they need to make sure that the player base has a voice too. That's the biggest thing. If women want the choice for their own characters, they have the right to make that fucking choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Fuck. I mean, it's, I don't know, like,
I'm not saying change
you know what I mean?
earlier stuff, but maybe
I'm not saying like you're saying that specifically. I'm just saying in general, like even earlier with the pictures and stuff like that, even if they think it's best for them, I understand the need to have to flatten the game down to a point which they can move forward with, but at the same time, like, let's not go shoot holes through history and ignore everybody else at the same time, because that's the same problem, right?
Yeah.
There's a huge player base. There's a huge female player base now, right? And they, depending on whatever perspective they are on this particular topic, they still have hung around up until this point, right? So there's some sort of community, some sort of societal type thing that's there that's protecting them from this issue, if it's really that big of an issue. And they deserve a right to be able to have input on this stuff, especially when they've been a part of the game and they've been a part of the game for so long. So the only thing that I hope is that they just make more better, more change. The changes they do like this are more involved with the community, because the game is more the community than it is the developers.
Yeah.
Because people pay to be a part of this world,
Yeah.
and they deserve to have input on what's going on. And that's just that's the business they're in, whether they like it or not. It's a freaking virtual world, and we already see what our real world's like. So,
Yeah.
We're going to be divided no matter what, but it's important. It's important to have both perspectives, have them considered, and making sure everybody can live happily.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's easy for things to swing too far in one direction. It's easy to overcorrect. And you see it happen all the time, everywhere, in everything. It's just like things go one way, and then there is a knee-jerk reaction to it, and then it swings back the other way, and then it goes past where like a happy middle is and goes to the other way. Now the other half's not happy.
And typically it's because people are squelched. People are squelched for wanting to have that opinion, because it's always biased one way or the other. And that's another big problem, is that people just don't have. Everybody has a right to have input on something. Even if you think all women should be just like Age of Conan MMO, topless, running around. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that's your opinion then. Like, you have a right to have that opinion, obviously, like in this case, it's just not in the best interest of the game overall.
Right.
But whenever these things were in the best interest of the game for over a decade, regardless of society and how it's progressing, I think it's still important, because I'm willing to bet that there are plenty of women who play this game that like enjoy having their scantily clad characters.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they like to play dress up.
Yes.
And
you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, There's something.
I always liked making a human on the Alliance side just because I wanted to be a human with a
Right.
flat top so I could look like Guile from Street Fighter because I was never going to be that cool or that buff. So.
There's something to be said for playing dress up, and whether it's in real life or whether it's in a virtual world, where and that's part of people's personal fantasies, right? And I'm not talking.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's literally just dress up. It's that alternative reality that people get to live and be a part of. Like, there are reasons why these things are so, words slip
addictive.
me. Not addictive. This is popular. There you go. That's the easy word. Stuff like this, stuff like Second Life, right? Second Life is the craziest thing in the world.
Oh
but
God, there's
people. You know what I mean, though. But people, they lock into these things, and it's a part of their lives. And so, again, I don't know. I obviously don't know, for the most part, what I'm talking about. This obviously doesn't affect me mostly at all, other than the fact that it's in the game and the changes are happening in the game. But again,
it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really affect us. But I mean, it's just something interesting to talk about, and at least kind of. Just kind of feel it around, put it in your mouth, roll it around a little bit, kind of get a taste for it.
What the?
Ji-zzard, Jesus. Gosh.
My goodness.
Wow.
Check out the mouthfeel.
Wow.
It's a viable. I can't even think. Now I can't think of words. Thank you.
You're welcome. We digressed enough.
No, that was that's what's happening, and that's we didn't really digress. We were talking about something about the game, right, and its current state. So we hold true to our mission statement. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know. It's just, I just hope that that they're taking their time in making these decisions, and making sure that what they're doing doesn't negatively impact everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, do it for the right reasons and not just because you think it'll save face, right?
Right.
And just, or at least what you think is a right reason. And the problem I think a lot of people have with this change right here is that there's no communication around it, right? It's like they said they're making a bunch of changes and all that stuff, but they haven't detailed them. And so things are going to get changed and people aren't going to know, and then they're going to stumble across it. And when you find something that's changed and you don't know it's coming, you get that surprise, and some people get angry. And whether that anger is misplaced or whether it's even valid, you can't change the fact that that person is angry. So I mean, there are ways to soften the blow, and it's just like, I don't want to hear people say, it's like, well, fuck you, there's no, if you can't handle it, can fucking leave kind of thing. And it's just like, people have a right to their feelings.
Never be that way.
But it is, and that's just the way everything's gotten. It's just like, if you have a dissenting opinion about something than somebody else, or if you don't like a change, or if you get angry about it, people will fucking bully you for feeling that way. And it's just like, you don't know this person. You don't understand anything about this. It's like, everybody has an opinion, and you can't, and everybody has there's always a reason why somebody feels that way. Whether it's right or not, you can't put somebody down for expressing themselves. It's like, you can try and have a conversation with them about it and try to understand why they feel the way they do, and maybe offer alternatives and have a discussion about it, and then maybe they'll calm down and think about it from a different angle. You know what I mean? And it's just like, but nobody does that anymore. And that's just in general. And it's like, it's not related to the game. That's just the fucking world we live in now, and it just sucks.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know what else. Those were the two main things, I think, with the Mage Tower coming out, which I'm looking forward to. The Mage Tower, right? It's going to be something to go back and do, and to see what they've done with the scaling. I think there's probably
Mythic Plus in general, right? Mythic Plus in general on time walking. That's kind of cool.
it'll be interesting. Oh, apparently on the PTR, somebody went into a Motherlode and got a BFA key and was able to do a BFA key. So either BFA time walking is going to have Mythic Pluses as well, since
That's cool.
they had it, but I don't know if it was a Mythic, if it was a time walking thing, or if it was just there. And they're like, hey, Lizard, this is broken. But
guys.
so I'm guessing that Legion is going to be the test bed for some of these other systems. So perhaps when BFA time walking comes out next expansion, we'll have time walking islands
Ooh, that would be cool.
where you can get scaled down and actually have it be like a challenging thing, and maybe they can throw
Time
that.
walking Magni.
Oh god,
Hero.
Oh my god.
champion!
Azeroth still hurting. Where you been? I've been searching for. I've been teleporting all over the fucking world without you.
Well, we're not on the world.
Oh my god.
So what else could they do? They could do. Well, they can't do time walking horrific visions. That wouldn't make much sense. I guess islands would be the one thing that they would kind of do, because I think that was, or maybe even Warfronts. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking of things that they could maybe do, but the fact that
Warfronts was one of those things that I really, 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 really loved right off the bat.
Yeah.
And really, 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 really hated within a week or two.
Yeah.
Like,
that's because people found optimal paths and they just went and did it, and so like it was always do it this way and just blow through it and be done, instead of it being.
but that's their fault too for not making it more dynamic. Like
it wasn't
was way too-
challenging. Like once you got past a certain
it would have been
gear,
an awesome single player experience. I think if you could have a way to be able to assign, like it was almost like a mini RTS instead of WoW, like your own instance, and you could just assign people to go chop wood and go get the mines and stuff, and then
that's what I wish they would have done. Is like put
That
it
would've
in,
been
and
pretty
you
cool.
go to the command table and you direct your troops, and,
Yes.
and you pull up the command table, and it's basically just like a fucking 16-bit version of or whatever of like the old Warcraft game or
dude.
whatever, and you like sending your things and you're collecting the gold and all that stuff. And the problem with that is that would be super fucking time consuming. Put that in. They should do that. They should make a fucking. They should just put the old games in the game where you can play Warcraft, or you could play Warcraft 2 in WoW.
I mean they did shit like, think about the stuff in Cataclysm with the zombies versus
Oh yeah, the Plants versus
Zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Well,
come on, guys.
I need to go back. Did I get the Sunflower? I think I got the Sunflower.
Oh, come on. You got 14 copies of it. 3,
I don't-
technically, but whatever.
I don't think so.
I think everybody does at this point.
I don't think.
Anyways, but they really need like more stuff like that. Even the little mini games in like Legion,
The
which
puzzles,
were awesome.
the chest, the locked chests, like the ley line
Wait.
lock chest and the swapping the things to open the chest in Nashtatar.
That was a Nashtatar, yes. But still, like mini games like that. The barrel. It was the barrel and the
Oh, the fucking barrels in
the
Suramar.
barrels, which everybody used an add-on.
I never used an
immediately,
add-on. I never used
Yeah,
an
it was an
add-on.
add-on that would mark them for you.
Yeah.
Like one of the World Quest add-ons would do it for you automatically. But there's also the bubble. Oh,
The bubble flight ones?
Yeah, from the mages. Man, I can't remember shit.
The
The
arcane?
mages of what are they called? Something I.
The arcane? Arcane eye? No.
No. Oh, what are they called? Somebody help us. Caller.
What was Khadgar's faction
Yeah.
of wizards?
Dalaran,
I don't remember.
something.
How do we not
Oh my
fucking know
God.
this?
It's purple. I see purple.
It's the one.
Was
it's
it
when-
Kieran Tor?
Yes, Kieran
Kieran
Tor.
Tor.
Oh my god! I was like sitting there thinking,
It was an eye.
I'm like the Kieran Tor. Like I didn't think that like so you were looking at me. I didn't think that was something that you would forget. Like I thought it had to be something else because the Kieran Tor was so. You know.
It's old age. Yeah, I don't know. The mini games were fun. They could have some really good ones in there, and they could add more in there. And I think Time Walking is getting some neat additions to it. I wish there was a way they could go back and add stuff like that back to older patches. So like, you know how like they do Time Walking for BC, and why don't they have a classic Time Walking?
Didn't they do? They kind of blended that in, didn't they? Remember they redid a lot of dungeons and certain expansions?
They split them up in the Dungeon Finder, but like they didn't like redo them. Like no dungeon.
Yes, they did.
Which ones did they redo?
Mara.
Oh,
They split them up in the Dungeon Finder. But like if you go in and do the dungeon, it's normal.
Classic dungeons redone. Remember they did this a lot. Like Strat was redone.
Yeah.
Oh, they probably changed some of because they changed the characters a little bit, some of the bosses and different, but the dungeons are pretty much the same as they were. Like the Wailing Caverns, I know they changed some of the druids and stuff because the druid at the end, I think it's the Murgle now, or something. I don't know, or a Murloc. They changed. Yeah, they like the. I don't know. Stuff changed with Cataclysm, but I don't think to the extent.
Dead Mines was another one.
Yeah, but like, okay, they did. I lied, but we still don't have.
No, That's a good point though. Yeah, Sunken Temple was another one. Sunken Temple was like shortened completely.
Oh god, I remember farming the fuck out of that.
That was terrible. I remember spending way too many hours
fucking
in that
lost
dungeon.
in there.
But that poison trinket was fun for a little while. But that was Scalo, Sunken Temple, Dead Mines. Was that all in Cataclysm then?
Yeah, it all changed in Cataclysm. I mean, they redid the whole old world, but we don't have a Time Walking for.
We really should though. In that case, like they really should. It's funny because somebody just I'm reading an old post on MMO Champion from like 3 years ago. Somebody said they should make a Time Walking vanilla, but that's a good point. They really should. Like, I mean, even the redid dungeons were still good. I liked them.
Yeah, I mean,
Scholomance was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scholomance was one that was redone because that was with Jillian.
Yeah, Jillian Voss.
Yep.
Lillian.
She's
like Jillian.
I was pretty close. I was thinking Ji-zzard and Lillian.
God. They did redo Dead Strat because Baron Riven
Entertainment.
Anyway, all right, we're done. All right, thanks everybody for listening. Check us out at facebook.com/server restart in. Shoot us a tweet at server_restart, and then you can tune in next week to hear more about Ji-zzard. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.